Guns drawn in the front yard. A hit and run leads to a deadly shooting.
The lady was shot.
Who shot the lady, sir?
A pregnant librarian shot and killed after police say she pulled out a gun on a motorcyclist that she hit.
The dude on the bike shot her.
Orange City police say she was shot in her front yard, but they say she started the whole thing by hitting the motorcyclist with her car on purpose and then driving to her home to go get her gun. Fox 35 Stephanie Buffamonte joins us live from the crash scene with the latest on the investigation. Stephanie.
Yeah, it all started here at Wisconsin Avenue and Volusia Avenue. Police say Sarah Morales hit the motorcycle driver here at this intersection. That's when he followed her down the street and shots were fired.
He fired me! What's that?
Oh, damn lady now,
You can hear the chaotic scene unfolding as police say a man shot Sarah Morales multiple times outside of her home on Wisconsin Avenue. Police say Morales intentionally hit the man while he was on his motorcycle, and that man and a witness followed Morales to her home. A witness told police Morales went inside and came out with a gun pointing it at them, and that's when the motorcyclist, who has a concealed weapons permit, shot her.
The lady was shot.
Who shot the lady, sir?
Hey, what's that? Something here. The dude that got hit on the bike. The dude on the bike shot her.
In the 911 call, the dispatcher asked the witness to perform CPR.
Is she breathing, sir?
Hey, is she breathing? No.
Okay.
She's still breathing. Yeah, she's still breathing.
Morales later died at the hospital. Her family tells me she was 5 months pregnant. She had an 11-year-old daughter, too. Morales was a librarian at the Pearson Public Library. People who work nearby say it's shocking and sad to know she was carrying a baby.
I believe when it's your time, but Jesus, you don't want to go that way.
And she says road rage is out of control in the area.
Every day, just ride up and down that road, and you can't escape it. It's scary.
The motorcyclist is not facing any charges at this time. I just spoke with him off camera. He says he hasn't been able to sleep since this all happened on Saturday. He tells me he feels terrible for that woman's family, but felt like he just had no other choice. Reporting live, Stephanie Buffamonte, Fox 35 News.
All right, people. So you guys heard what the newscaster had to say. Here's the deal. I want you guys to be very, very careful of looking at this situation from the standpoint of this man being in the right or being innocent or whatever. I understand the cops are saying that this woman hit this man on purpose and they are not bringing charges. You guys need to understand something. What this man did was extremely stupid. This person lives in Florida. Florida has stand your ground laws. I don't know how many states have them. I think Texas has them, maybe Georgia. I think like throughout most of the South, I could be wrong. I don't know all the states that have stand your ground laws, and I don't know exactly how stand your ground laws work. But here's the deal. The cops are saying that the woman was the aggressor, and they're not charging this guy. That does not mean that the court, a judge, or a district attorney is going to agree. This man could still be facing charges. What the cops say in a preliminary investigation means absolutely nothing if it's keeping you out of jail. You guys have to remember that. If the cops are saying you are guilty or you did this or you did that, then it has lots and lots of weight. But if they say you didn't do something, that doesn't mean that, you're not going to get sued or brought up on charges. Because sometimes the district attorney just wants to, win it. They just want a case. If the case looks ugly, like this one looks ugly, an ambitious district attorney might want to bring charges. So, like, if you think about this man and this woman, they were driving on this road where this older woman admitted there's lots of road rage on that particular road. I don't know the ins and out of that road. I don't know the demographic of the drivers. Maybe it's a heavily congested road during certain hours. I don't know. Whatever the case, lots of road rage. They're driving on this road, known for road rage. For whatever reason, this woman, by the admission of the cops, she hits this man while she's in her vehicle and he's on a motorcycle. She hits him on purpose. A witness sees this and she leaves the scene. I don't know if they got out of their car and had words. I don't know. All I know is she was hit. The cops say it was on purpose, and then she flees the scene. A witness sees this. The man who got hit obviously sees it, and they give chase. That right there, I don't know how that would work in 49 other states, but I know in California, you are guilty right there. Right now, California is a woke cesspool, so wherever you live, I don't know how it works there either. But as soon as you get hit, even if it's on purpose, when that person takes off, in a lot of other states, you don't have the right to chase them. And if you chase them, you're the aggressor, right? And this is why I tell you, I don't know how these stand your ground laws work, and you don't want to rely on stuff like that. So he gets hit, he gives chase. I don't know the legality behind that. He makes it to this woman's house, or he follows her to her house. Once again, you followed this woman to her house, right? I understand that she hit you on purpose, but you still followed her to her home. So what do stand your ground laws say in her situation? Is she removed from stand your ground because she hit you, committed a crime, and then fled home? Like, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the district attorney. They make it home. She gets out of her car. Things happen. She goes in the house. She comes out of the house with a gun, and the man takes her down. Okay, this looks like a open and cut case, a very clear and cut case of self-defense. The police are saying she aggressed the situation. The police are not saying he acted in self-defense. They're just not pressing charges. They're simply admitting, yes, she aggressed the situation. They're not pressing charges, but they're not clearing the guy. And like I said, even if the police clear you, the DA can pick it up, right? The DA can be like, oh, he shot a pregnant woman. I don't know if the district attorney of Florida or that county, I don't know if I don't know if the prosecutor is a woman. I don't know how liberal the county is. I don't know. And you don't know. This is why I'm saying you don't want to put yourself in that position, because there's too many variables, way too many variables. Once again, I'm not saying that the woman is in the right. I'm not trying to side on with her. She did what she did. She got the result that she got. And let's say the case plays out just how it's looking like it's going to play out. Let's say this man walks free. Okay, hey, she brought that on herself. She brought all of this on herself by being a narcissist, by spazzing out on the road, by being overly entitled, right? She played a stupid game and she won a stupid prize. Sucks to be her, right? But I want you guys to look at this from the standpoint of, what if the law doesn't back your play, right? What happens if the law says you're in the wrong for following her? Because she hit this man on purpose, but she fled, and his vehicle was still operational, which means he could have fled. He had time to get out of that situation. What if the prosecutor or a judge or whomever says, oh, this was premeditated because you had time to not pursue her. You had the ability to escape, right? Not saying that would happen, just simply saying, look at this from the perspective of him not being cleared by the cops. I understand that the cops are saying she aggressed the situation, and I understand that they're not bringing charges, but they did not say, I don't think they said that this was self-defense. I think he's saying it's self-defense, but I don't know if the cops are saying that. So think about this from the standpoint of the police, wanting to bring a case. Like, oh, we're going to bring the case, right? You followed this person. You could have fled. You could have parked. You could have, snapped a picture of her license plate, or snapped a picture of her home and said, oh, this person went to this place, and then you could have drove right on off, right? You didn't have to confront that woman. They can play this any kind of way they want. Once again, I know how people are going to feel about this. I'm not saying that this woman is in the right. I'm not saying that the man was in the wrong. Like, oh, he shouldn't have done anything. I'm saying always swallow your pride. Even when the grievance is against you. If somebody does something to aggrieve you, be willing to swallow your pride. Because if this doesn't play out the way it's looking like it's going to play out in this man's situation, like what happens if the legal tide turns? What happens if that's you and the cops are like, nope, you should have left. You shouldn't have followed her. You followed her to her home. Because like I said, I live in California. You don't know how many states have ridiculous liberal laws. I don't know what the law in this situation would be in Ohio or Kentucky or Texas or Oklahoma or wherever. I don't know. That's why I'm saying to avoid this, just, get her license plate, get where she lived. Like if he could have just, took a picture and said, okay, she lives here and gave that to the cops and then just left. You also have the fact that this girl, that this woman has a 11-year-old daughter and was potentially pregnant. Now, the newscaster said she was pregnant. I've seen reports where she wasn't pregnant, but since the news is saying that she was pregnant, let's just go with it. So you end up ultimately deleting a pregnant woman after she hit you, okay, but you followed her to her home and, her daughter is there and she's 5 months pregnant. Think about how they can play that. They can say, oh, she was 5 months pregnant. Maybe she had a premature contraction. She's hopped up on estrogen, because she's going through she's going through this pregnancy. They can say, keep in mind, the police said it was intentional. The prosecutors aren't saying that. So they can play this any kind of way. If in fact she was pregnant, they could say, oh, she was 5 months pregnant. She was hormonal, this, that, the third, whatever. They can play that pregnancy card and whatever comes with it. Then they can say you followed a pregnant mother back to her home and then she was defending herself and her 11-year-old daughter and you killed her. Think about that. Like, this is why I say this. I'm sure he didn't know that. And and I'm not saying that it's okay for her to act this way because she was potentially pregnant and had a kid. I'm just saying you have to think. The court of public opinion is going to rip you apart. Once again, I understand that this is Florida and it's different. I'm talking from the perspective of a person with common sense who lives in California who knows you have no right to self-defense. And I don't know how liberal these kinds of laws are in other states. That's why I'm always saying, maybe you should walk away. Maybe you don't need to confront that person. I get that you got hit, but your health was not deteriorated. It's not like she broke your legs, not like she broke your back. Your bike was still operational. So, like I said, it looks to me, I would have gotten her license plate number, or at least I would have followed her long enough to snap a picture of the license plate. Or when you saw her pull in to this place, you pull out your phone and you record her, right? Hopefully get a license plate or something like that. Or if that's really where she lives, boom, you got where she lives, and then you pull off and you go down the street and you call the cops. The reason I say that is because this is an issue of pride. This is an issue of arrogance. I don't want to say that it's pride and arrogance on the man's part, but at the same time, it is. This woman hit you on purpose, and you was like, oh, I ain't going for that. You followed her and ultimately ended up deleting her. And like I said, I'm not trying to cape for this woman. I'm trying to tell you what happens if you do this and the law says, nope, you should have walked away. I'm going with the worst case scenario. I get that this man won or is looking like he's going to win in this particular situation, but please don't look at this like you can do it, that the judge, the jury, or the cops are going to be on your side. This is a unique case. This woman was feeling herself. She thought she was above the law, and it cost her everything. But at the same time, I could just see an overambitious district attorney or prosecutor, whatever, taking this case and trying to run this man up the flagpole, especially like in the court of public opinion. don't put yourself in that situation, right? I don't want to beat this into the dirt, but I just want to reemphasize that I'm not trying to come down on, I'm not condemning this man. I'm just saying you ain't him. You don't have those particular cops looking at your case. You might not live in Florida. Be very careful when you try to defend yourself or bring justice for something that happened to you. Sometimes you got to walk away. I get that this guy won or is winning in his situation, but please don't think that's going to be the situation for you. Be willing to walk away. That way you don't end up in jail. You don't end up getting sued. Because I don't know if I mentioned it, but this woman has at least one daughter. So he might be looking at a hefty legal situation. He might be looking at getting sued, some sort of civil situation. So you don't want to end up getting sued for your soul, and you don't want to end up in jail, and ultimately you don't want to end up having to delete nobody, right? So I know I'm sounding kind of blue pill, kind of simpish on this, but just, make good decisions. All right. Peace.